Hello everyone, today we have new video review, and as you can see this time we are going to check something new from Tamiya. It is modded in 1/72nd scale, and actually we shown this release on Nuremberg Toy Fair reports. This is a new Messerschmitt Bf109 G6 which is modded in 1/72nd scale. So now we have a commercial sample, so it means you get exactly the same kit. We bought it with your help and now we are ready to review it closer. So first of all, we have a typical size of the box for 1/72nd scale kit from Tamiya. Here you can see comparison with my hand. Also note that we have quite an interesting misspelling here. Obviously, we all know how Bf109 G6 should be written in the right way, but we have it written with error. So all the, let's say, model pages, even on ScaleMates, it is written like this. So if you will be searching, keep it in mind. Also on the side we have one of the marking options. So here you can see the first one. That's aircraft from G-51 which was operating in Bulgaria in June 1944 with this eyes on the cowling, and you can see it on the box art obviously. And here on the other side we can see another marking option which is also quite colorful. This one comes from JG54 and it was operating on February 1944. So just to show you how the box, as you can see, it's a typical Tamiya box. So let's open it. It's a top opening box, and here we have various checks, just to small proof that we bought it actually. So here we have all plastic sprues. As you can see, they're packed in separate plastic bags. Also here we have decals sheet and also assembly manual. Of course, I would like to start with clear parts because they're placed on the top. And they're packed, well, I don't need scissors because they're packed with the paper clips, with the staples, so I have just to tear them off and we will be good to go. In the meantime, let me remind you that you can support us financially. It is quite simple because it's done via PayPal. You could just go to our website, there is a donate button, you click it, choose the amount you would like to send us, and you will help us get new photo and video equipment, or maybe buy some new kit to be reviewed in the same video review as this one. So let's zoom in a bit more. Now we focus the camera. So here we have first clear parts. I can zoom even more so that you can see these parts in detail. Obviously we have here canopy parts, and as usual we have several parts for this element of the aircraft. So it means you will be able to copy the open cockpit. We also have some parts for interior. You have to install them. Of course, masks are not included, so you have to cut them or get some aftermarket set. As far as I know, Eduard already has them, so I guess it won't be a problem. And here we have polycaps. I'm not sure where they will be used, maybe for propeller. We'll have to check it in assembly manual. Next is a gray plastic sprue. Here we have the main sprue, let's say, also some thin frame as well. I guess this thin frame is actually what is needed to copy the G6 version. So let's open it. As far as I remember, when Tamiya's 1/48 scale G6 came out, everybody was saying that it's more or less the most precise kit. Nevertheless, there were some flaws, and this kit can be named as a reduced version of this bigger brother, let's say. So that's why we have the same nice detailing here. And here you can see that all parts, due to really small size, they fit on one frame. And we have here fuselage halves, we have wing parts, we have cockpit parts, propeller with attachment on the blade. Also here we have exhausts, cockpit parts, dashboard, etc, etc. Molding quality looks really great. So let's zoom in and do the zoom mode so that you can see it with your own eyes and check everything closer. So here we can see several interesting things. First of all, we have here ailerons and wing edges, which will serve as a guiding elements. Next, we have also this propeller, let's say the top or propeller part. It will serve as a guiding element as well for the nose section. As far as you can see, we have here guiding pins. They will help you with alignment of those two fuselage halves together. Surprisingly, we have some internal detailing here, even though it will be barely visible. And I'm a bit confused about this detail structure. I guess it will be used for the right angle of the landing gear system on this aircraft. We all know that Bf109 had quite interesting angle of the landing gear legs. And here you can see it from the other side. Of course, all flaps, ailerons and other stuff, they're pre-molded, so you won't be able to position them separately. But I think in such small scale it's not that crucial, even though some kits do offer such feature. So it's strange to see Tamiya not including such option into their kit. Nevertheless, here we have another small plastic sprue. This one is dedicated to cowling parts, so just give me a second. Again, I have to get rid of the staples and we'll check everything closer. So just a second. Okay, so here it is. Let's zoom in. Now you should be able to see it properly. So first of all, we can see that this top cowling part is still molded separately, so you just place it here in this special cutout section, and it means that it will be easier to stay away from some unnecessary gaps in such visible area. We also have those characteristic parts pre-molded with those cowling parts, and here you can see that inside we don't have anything because there is no engine included into this kit. And actually those parts, they will be just covering the fuselage halves, so basically you won't have a possibility to at least have some engine detailing on one side. Maybe still there is nothing, but who knows, maybe we'll see some aftermarket resin sets which will actually fix this issue, let's say. Next we have another plastic bag, and just give me a second to guess what is happening here, because as far as you can see it is sealed, so I have to open it and we will take a look. So here it is. It's a decals sheet, and here we have all necessary symbols for two marking options, as you remember. We even have the propeller spirals, we have some stencils, we even have the cockpit decals, as you can see, seat belts and the dashboard, those eyes for this first marking option which is depicted on the box art, and several types of the cross. As you can see, they're slightly different in the paint. Printing quality is really good. We can zoom even more so that you can see those decals closer. And I hope application will be easy as well. This is a 1/72 scale, so keep in mind their size here. You can see comparison with my fingers. They're not that big as they might seem to be, so you have to be careful while applying them on your model. Next we have this brochure. So as far as I can guess, this one will be as a history note. So as you can see here, we have the text written in Japanese, then we have the English and German as far as you can see, and also the French. And we have also here the basic structure of Bf109 G-6, some photos, technical specifications, and here you can see another page. Okay, but that's not all, because we also have the several other brochures. So first of all, we have the tech tips, so that you know how to assemble your model properly. We have here various advices on how to use various model tools in a right way, let's say. Okay, and here we have the assembly manual. This one is printed in black and white, as you can see. That's a traditional Tamiya format, so nothing surprising here. We have also safety advices on the first page. So size of the finished model will be 138 millimeters wingspan, and fuselage will have 125 millimeters. Then we have here the paints required for this build, recommended tools of course. Next we have some tech tips, as it's written here, and okay, we have here two marking options, And as you can see, manual prompts you to choose one because your assembly choices will depend on one of those markings which you will choose for your build. So everything starts with cockpit, of course. Then we continue with the dashboard here. Then cockpit walls, painting and assembly of the fuselage together. Here you can see that actual aircraft had recessed channels here, so basically they say to you that you don't have to sand the seams or gaps between fuselage halves. Then we continue with upper cowling. Here you can see that it is installed on the plastic air intake, which should be glued out of two halves. Then here we have the underside cowling, and as you can see, the air intake radiator will be inserted into the cowling. Here we have the exhausts. We continue with cockpit installation into the fuselage. So basically, when the fuselage halves are joined, you still have the cockpit separate, and it is quite interesting parts division in my opinion. Next, we install the exhausts and the lower cowling section. We continue with fin attachment and tail wings, and also the tail wheel. Here we modify the wing, so I'm not sure what we'll have to do. So I guess to cut, the main task is to cut those attachment points here on the edges. Then we join those three parts together, and don't forget to paint the wheel wells into the right shade. Here we have the air intakes. We continue with the wing attachment and also the rear, it's not the headrest, but the rear section of the cockpit behind pilot's back. As you can see, it is molded as a one-piece part, and that's really cool because quite often you have the seam in the middle of this area, but here it is molded as one-piece part, so you won't have to any problems here. And because the assembly manual is has typical layout as other Tamiya kits, we just turn over this page and we jump to 11th step. So here we work on the main landing gear, and as you can see, you have to assemble the wheels, also the main landing gear legs. Here we continue with external fuel tank, attaching the landing gear, and as you can see, you have to do it in the numbered order in order to give the right fitment on your aircraft. Here we install the drop tank, and next we continue with step 14. Here we attach the canopy, and I'm a bit confused and just wonder why do we have such complex part for the target side. I guess it will make it easier to install the target side in place. Here we install the frontal and rear section of the canopy. Of course, you will have to delete the pins, plastic pins. Here we continue with canopy middle section. So we install also this armor shield, and also note that propeller will be installed on this vinyl polycap, so it will be rotatable. But I guess not many of you will need this feature. Here we install, well, manufacturer shows that you can install it either in closed or open position, this middle section of the canopy, so the final choice will be up to you. Here you can see the first marking option. As you remember, it was operating in Bulgaria, June 1944. And whole marking guide is printed in black and white, so I would rather search for some reference photos in order to get a more or less realistic finish. Then here we have the second marking option. This one comes from JG54, and as you can see, it is relatively simpler than what we saw on the first marking option, but here you have to work a bit as well due to the yellow cowling, propeller spiral, and also mottling on the fuselage. But otherwise it's not that difficult for those who are building the German aircraft in small scales. Here we have some advices on painting and applying decals, also spare sprues, but it's a Japan only. As you can see here we have the parts code, and that's pretty much all. So in my opinion, this makes quite an interesting kit in small scale. Of course, it will be engaging for you if you haven't built the Bf109 G-6 in 1/72 scale till this time. Otherwise, I guess all modelers have this type in their stash, so it won't be a huge surprise, but definitely it will be upgrade over what we saw in the previous releases. And as far as we remember, there are not that many Bf109 G6 kits, surprisingly, which are decent. And that's why this kit worth considering if you plan to assemble this famous bird in small scale, not in 1/48 but in 1/72. And as far as I know, there should be already some accessories available from Edward, so you will be able to detail this small aircraft even more. Of course, I will be happy to hear your opinion about this kit here in the comment section below. If you like this video, don't forget to press the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel, and I will see you in the next video review as usual. Bye.